Hey everybody, this is my 55-gallon Gourami tank. I was actually just coming in here to shoot another video about my water hardness, and when I walked in the room I saw my Royal Farlowella, my whiptail there, sitting on the Java Fern. I thought it was on the Tiger Lotus when I first walked in, but it's not. It's actually on the Java Fern, and it's not eating anything in particular. It's just kind of hanging out there at the moment. I really like this fish a lot. I need to get in this tank and thin out the plants to some degree. I like a nice heavily planted tank. You can see my moonlight gourami there with the sort of dapple sunlight effect shining on it and glimmering and shimmering. I get that partially from the LED and then the surface agitation, but you don't get the shadowing and shading you get without having lots of plant cover. If you look down here at this Tiger Lotus leaf, you can see exactly what I'm talking about with that sort of twinkly dapple sunlight effect that you get on some of the lower leaves down here. And some of that has to do with these upper leaves up here blocking some of the light. So all in all, I like my tanks to be nice and dense and thickly grown, but at the same time there's always a balance I've got to try to find between having enough light in there to see and to film. And then of course, as I've mentioned before with these Tiger Lotus, when you let these leaves start getting up to the top like I've let these few, then the plant will really just start sending all of its leaves straight to the surface, and I really don't want that. I want some of this dense, bushier growth going on down here in the tank. Now the way I've got the water flowing, it comes out of the spray bar. You can actually see the holes across the front. They're sort of facing upwards and forwards at about 45 degrees. That gives me both circulation and a little bit of surface agitation. Not a lot. I don't like a ton. And then of course in this tank with the fish I have, the gouramis and everything prefer a more gentle, calmer surface. And of course if they need that, they can always come down to this end where there's plenty of vegetation to slow the water. And then even up in this corner, the water's actually pretty calm over here too. It's only kind of right here in the front and center that we have the surface agitation, and then of course that flows across the surface, hits the front glass, and then flows downward. And then that's why you see leaves like this that are strangely look like they're growing flat against the glass. That was growing upwards until the edge of it got caught in that current and pulled downwards. And so that's a leaf I need to get in there and remove, because that's a lot of square inches of tank we can't see just because that leaf is kind of stuck there. And if you'll notice, right behind that leaf was both of my honey gouramis. They're hanging out back there, and you weren't even able to see them because of this big leaf that's just kind of there. So that'll need to come out. The ones that have reached the surface will come out, and then maybe one or two of these really big ones right here can come out, because I don't need a huge cluster of them. This one down here, for example, is not getting any light at all really, so I could either remove a leaf above it to allow it to get some light, or simply remove it altogether since it's not really getting much light, and just let the two leaves above it keep doing their thing and soaking up all that light that they're getting. So I don't know, we'll see. I plan on working on this tank today, but I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to. I've got some other plans down here that I want to do first. I do want to shoot that video about my water chemistry, my water hardness. I've got some updated news to report. I did some testing this morning and I got some results. So I want to shoot a video about that. And then of course this video was just really to get a good look at that Farlowella. I'm really delighted that it's just sat there this whole time and I haven't scared it away. I was afraid that when I turned off the light on my garden tank, that's so bright, it just creates such a glare on all my tanks. If I want to film any other tank, I have to turn that light off, and then I'm free to video. So I was afraid when I did that, as is often the case, it spooks all the fish, because it goes from really bright in the room to darkness all of a sudden, at least outside the tanks. And most of the fish in the tanks will dart or dash or jump to some degree. You can tell they're startled. And then the skittish fish, like my rubber lips and you know, plecos that are on the bottom, they'll often just turn around and dash into a cave for a second. And I was really afraid this one was going to do the same thing, and we weren't even going to bother to get the video of it. So, yay, we got it. Alright, everybody, there's your video. Again, don't forget about those other ones I've got coming up. Make sure you're subscribed, that way you won't miss them. Don't forget, this tank here is my 55-gallon Gourami tank. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you real soon on the next one.